Alright.
Hey guys, welcome back to our vlog.
So podcast, welcome back.
We haven't even started the
Yeah, we
audio
have.
recording.
It's right there.
That's
So today's topic, we got some little headliners for y'all.
Oh yeah, sure.
So we kind of wanted to share our opinion on
9/11.
and
Was caused by the government.
I thought you were gonna like
Illuminati with Beyonce and Diddy and
yeah,
Jay-Z.
conspiracy theories.
And that the deep state killed JFK and
Yeah.
may have had an involvement in the Trump assassination attempt. So let's
Still
dive
no.
right into it.
Uh-huh.
First one, 9/11 was caused by the government.
Mhm.
Starting off with a tough subject.
I know. Yeah.
Okay. The theory was that 9/11 was an inside job or caused by the U.S. government.
Mhm.
This refers to a range of conspiracy theories that claim the U.S. government or elements within it were either directly responsible for the complicit in the September 11, 2001 terrorist attack. These theories challenge the official account provided by the U.S. government and various independent investigations. Here's a summary of the main ideas behind this theory. First one is controlled demolition theory. The claim is that some theorists argued that the World Trade Center buildings, particularly the Twin Towers and the World Trade Center 7, collapsed due to a controlled demolition rather than being solely the result of the plane impacts and subsequent fires.
And that another thing I heard about that one is like the fuel or whatever can't burn hot enough for it to melt, like the steel or whatever the
Yeah.
heck it was in there. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, that sounds nasty.
The steel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't be hot enough for it to like just melt it and for it to crumble. And also the way it fell. What was it? The way it fell, it was like
Yeah.
it, like
so-
kind of.
So, theorists point to the speed and the symmetry of the collapse video footage showing that some interpret as explosions and the way the World Trade Center Tower 7 fell despite it not being hit by a plane.
Mhm.
So, yeah. The second one is an involvement of government agencies. Certain theories suggest that elements within the U.S. government or intelligence agencies were aware of the attacks in advance and allowed them to happen, or even orchestrated the attacks. Motivations. Theories often cite motivations such as a desire to create pretexts for the war on terror, expand U.S. military influence in the Middle East, or pass security measures like the U.S. Patriot Act.
Have you ever seen this TV show that's on Netflix, Inside Job?
For the
Sounds familiar.
viewers who are listening only, it's a inside job with it was in 2021. For
It's
the
a Netflix show and it's
listeners.
about conspiracy theories on how the government controls everything. And they discontinued the show. It only lasted for 6 months,
Damn.
but it was a pretty damn good show.
Were
'cause
they
knew.
like diving deep into it
no,
or
they were
what?
diving deep into this shit. Like
And they canceled it or
They
what?
canceled it.
Can you still watch it?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
on. I
okay.
think it's still on Netflix. But like they went into like how the government makes like things to watch you, like obviously like our phones and
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
And it actually talks about 9/11. It just like what you're saying is kind of like
Yeah.
coming together.
Dang.
'Cause,
They're like,
if 9/11 didn't happen, would it just happen like later on, or would it just?
would they have just started surveilling
It would have just
us
been
anyways?
delayed or
Right.
yeah.
Nah, they would need an excuse to start surveilling us, right? They
Or it
wouldn't
could have
be
been
like-
worse too, you know?
That too.
That's
attack-
true.
Happen
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anywhere worse than New York, to be honest with you. You know?
Yeah,
you
that's
think-
like the biggest populated city in America, I want to say, probably next to like LA or something like that. You know?
Yeah.
Do you think families think it's like messed up that people say that 9/11's a conspiracy theory? Though?
That's what I was
Like
thinking.
that?
That's what
too.
I was saying, like to the victims of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like saying that that's fucked
It
up.
could be disrespectful,
Yeah.
to the family's victims. But it also could be like a way for someone to, I don't know, maybe grab at closure or something like that. Or someone who already doesn't have trust with the government to like just to keep adding on to their suspicion, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
To
wonder
be
how
honest
those
with you,
families feel though too.
Right,
Like
like-
if they
Yeah.
do anything different from their daily lives.
Mhm.
Yeah, like with those families, like, I mean, their loved ones like died. So I don't know. I don't think it would be like they would see it as like offensive because it's like, I mean, have you seen? I'm going off a little bit off topic, but have you seen Ellen DeGeneres? Her wife or girlfriend, whatever. How when she died in like a car crash. Yeah, she died in a car crash. And then when they were pulling her through like a stretcher, right? Like the firefighters were like around her and everything. And then dude, she like, I think it was like a blanket over her. I don't think
Right.
it was a body bag, but it was like a blanket. And dude, she's laying down and she pops up, full sit up.
Whoa. what the
And
hell?
she's like trying to get up and like trying to get out of like the
Wait,
stretcher.
her wife that died in the wait.
That got
Ellen
in a car
DeGeneres'
accident.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
wife. And then and yeah, so she like sat up and then they pushed her back down, and then they pulled her like, and then they carried her like in like the stretcher. They carried that into like the ambulance, and they shut the door, and then she was pronounced dead. I was like, there's no way she could have been dead.
Yeah.
By like, I mean, she did a full sit up. Like, who's got the core strength for that? Even with adrenaline, like if you're gonna die right after that.
Yeah, I really do think that some of the deaths are. I mean, MJ.
Yeah.
Who the fuck? I don't know. There's even Tupac.
Epstein.
Oh.
Epstein is another
He
one
had
of
to
those.
go.
Nah, yeah,
He
that
had
was
to
a
go.
Yeah, no, he was.
He was connected to
He
too
had
many
too many-
politicians.
yeah,
He was
and-
freaking
yeah.
crazy.
There's
Dude.
pictures of him with fucking Donald Trump.
And
There's a picture
Clinton.
of him with Donald Trump.
Was it Epstein who was in jail who died because he got hung or something?
Yeah,
like that?
they said he hung himself. Yeah.
But there's no way he hung himself. There's no way
I
he
didn't
hung
even think
himself.
no.
There was somebody inside that killed him.
Someone got inside, was allowed access.
I mean, we even see that with TV shows, though. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's. I
How
feel like
far off?
sometimes producers have a way to show you things that are going on without saying it.
Right. Through Hollywood and stuff like
Yeah.
that, society-wise. So the JFK conspiracy theory, and the main one that really sits with the American public, is that the CIA took out JFK. And this was for one big reason. So in 1961, the Bay of Pigs invasion was a failed operation by the U.S. government to overthrow Fidel Castro with Cuban exiles.
Oh.
Oh,
I thought it was some kind of
God.
like.
Cuban exiles. Okay, yeah. Sorry about that. It was
It's like an emergency
a
broadcast.
group
kind
of
of
Cuban
thing.
exiles trained by U.S. CIA operatives to go into the country of Cuba and overthrow it. Now, when that happened, their plan was failed and flawed, and they got stuck in Cuba and were held captured by the Cuban nationalists who were supporters of Fidel Castro. And then ultimately, the government wanted JFK to fully invade Cuba and take it over. But what they didn't know is that the Soviet Union actually had nuclear missiles in Cuba hidden, pointed at America, ready to fire off, which if they had fired off nuclear weapons, the U.S. would retaliate back and all nuclear war would have happened. So JFK ultimately decided to set up a naval blockade and decided to pull out everything out of Cuba and pull out the CIA operatives. And so after this happened, it made the U.S. look weak, it made Kennedy look weak, and it made most of Kennedy's advisors who were previously in World War II really angry at him, and it made them realize that Kennedy was more weak on communism. So ultimately, there was allegedly an inside job to take out Kennedy as he was heading on his trip for re-election in Dallas in 1963.
The guy that shot him was also like a trained person. No?
Yes, as you got into that, yeah. He was actually a U.S. Marine, which allegedly he had CIA ties, and he went to the Soviet Union and lived there for a couple of years too.
Dang.
And allegedly while he was in the Soviet Union, he was taught Russian. So
Like, how can you allegedly do all these things?
yeah,
you know what I'm
you
saying?
can't just like, and especially at that time too, is you don't just like leave your country and be like, oh, I want to go live in the Soviet Union. Who at the time, that was like the most feared country, you know, a threat to the United States.
Yeah.
Because they were such a big superpower.
Yeah.
So that was the inside job, was that they took Kennedy out because he was too weak on communism. And also there's this thing about the military industrial complex wanting to be able to benefit from these forever wars and stuff like that. And Kennedy was going to pull out of Vietnam. This is when Vietnam was just starting to get underway. You know what I'm saying?
You think that's why Biden left so early? Because of what's happening in Gaza?
That's
He's
a-
doing the exact
That's a good
same
Trump.
thing.
Yeah, this also leads back to Donald Trump's 2024 presidential campaign, which it was really overshadowed by his like assassination attempt. And this is because Trump made claims that he wanted to end the Palestinian and Israel conflict, end the Russian and Ukraine conflict. And when you end wars like that, these big military industrial complexes like Boeing, Lockheed, they don't make money from supplying these weapons that they can give to the war. You know what I'm saying? So once war happens, their pockets get filled up with money because everyone wants to buy weaponry off of them and buy tanks and stuff like that. And once war ends like that, they can't make any money like that. And they look at whoever's leading that operative of not wanting to have the war as a threat to their power and control. So that's why, allegedly, this is all alleged and conspiracy theory. Allegedly,
You gotta say alleged every
this
time now.
this is allegedly why they attempted to take Donald Trump out and kill him.
I also heard it was like it was like a publicity stunt too.
I thought
by
it was a
him,
publicity
by
stunt.
him, you know. But then when you think about it, it's like how can if it was Donald Trump who was like planning that and everything, the publicity stunt, how can you be that like
Close to-
trust
yeah.
trust
Yeah, that's what
into
I'm
like the
saying. I don't
shooter?
think you
You
would-
know, like there's no way he's
You
like
would set that, yeah. Yeah.
There's no way, dude,
Nah.
because he could have
There's
gotten
no
his
way
brain blown
that
out.
fucking trained professionals did not see somebody up there
Yeah.
for minutes.
That's
passing by.
what leads back to the inside job theory, is that they knew someone was, and with Trump too, like they were saying that someone on his CIA team knew.
Well, I mean, they're all
had
under
tipped
investigation
off.
right now.
Yeah,
Like they've
everyone
all
is
been
under investigation,
in court, like
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
like, certain things.
But this leads back to like the JFK stuff. Is like the government made a whole commission about the assassination, and then they just closed it up like that, like 1 year after, saying, "Oh, it was just a lone gunman who was just crazy and wanted to kill Kennedy," and that was their theory. End of story.
Damn, and think about it nowadays. Back, like if that happened now, they could
With
say,
social
oh,
media,
he
it would have been
had-
on video everywhere.
No,
not
Everyone
only
would have been
that,
recording.
I feel like they would have
everyone.
blamed it on mental illness, but back
Oh, yeah,
then they couldn't
yeah.
because I mean it wasn't that talked
Yeah,
about. But now that's
yeah.
I feel like every shooting is like mental illness,
Mental illness, yeah.
Dude.
Just put a band-aid
Even when
on
it's
it.
two like 10 shots to the back of the head, bro, they're
Right,
like,
right.
he was suicide. Like, just doesn't make any sense.
All right, what's the next one?
Nonsense.
What do y'all think
Anyways,
about that? Oh shit, we're still
part
rolling.
2.
We just started rolling.
We just started rolling.
Part 2, we're gonna be talking. Well, no, this is our third topic,
Eve
but
is taking
second
the third
video.
topic.
Yeah,
Yes,
second
I will
video.
be taking the third topic. I don't know why, but it interests me. The idea that Jay-Z and Beyonce are involved with Diddy and the Illuminati has been a big conspiracy of recent events just because of everything happening. There's always a fall guy. There's always a fall guy. And honestly, I think that Diddy was the fall guy. Because how are you going to tell me his best friend, Jay-Z, doesn't want to have anything to do with him, has said he's not friends with him publicly? Like, how are you going to diss your friend out loud?
Yeah, he got too much hit on him.
He
you
had
know?
too much hit on him. I don't know. Let me see.
Yeah, and there is a lot of connections in the music world like that, to where, you know, it could all be connected some way, somehow. And you know what else paints it to me? I like, as much as I love Jay-Z's music, it just makes sense that he could somehow be involved because he's from New York too, just like how Diddy is too. So it would kind of make sense, like, and they've known each other for years, you know what I'm saying? It's like, Jay-Z's a billionaire too, someone with like a big platform like that. It would just
power,
it would
dude.
just make sense, you know what I'm saying? As much as I don't want to believe it, it does kind of make sense that he is involved, you know?
I feel like
some
pop
way, somehow.
culture is always like trying to incorporate symbolism with like the eye. The eye is always watching. The eye is always watching.
Mhm.
And they even made it their whole like brand label. What is his name?
Who?
Like Jay-Z's brand label that he has, like his music industry.
Oh yeah.
Where
yeah.
like that's
Oh,
literally
wow.
like The Rock or something like that. That's literally their sign.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no, it's just a triangle. It's just a triangle. But even like when you see their daughter performing nowadays, even her, she's taking the same movements as Beyonce.
Right.
is.
Isn't Beyonce's daughter, wasn't she in that one, that Annie, or something like that? And she was like that, or is Lion King?
No,
Was it
that
her?
was Kim
Kim
Kardashian's
Kardashian's
daughter.
daughter.
That was Kanye's daughter.
My bad. My bad.
Oh,
I get
Northwest.
mixed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but dude, I think it's crazy. Like, literally, you think about like all like these different celebrities, and like every single one of them has been in association with Diddy
Something.
in
Some way or
or
some way,
another.
somehow. Yeah.
All these, and especially the ones that got really big. You know,
Mhm.
I don't know about like Olivia Rodrigo. I'm pretty sure she probably has too, though. Like the craziness that she's blown up. But friggin' Ice Spice, like,
There's
come
no
on.
She's from New York,
way.
too.
No way.
There's
dude.
Yeah.
no way.
It's coming from
Like,
like
she's
these
not
New
even
York-based
that good.
rappers,
Yeah.
the New York artists, that have affiliation. Like Ice Spice, she's from New York. Who else is from New York? I mean, Biggie was from New York.
Cardi B.
Cardi B's from New York. God forbid if Biggie was still alive, he would definitely be under investigation right now.
Most
1000% he would be under investigation.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
Who
look
else?
at how Beyonce came into like fame though. She was
Yeah.
a part of like Destiny's Child and then
Right.
all of them. They were all big together, but they chose Beyonce.
Yeah.
Like no offense to Beyonce, but all of them are equally like really
It-
good
it-
singers.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to like, there's this thing called industry plants and stuff like that. You know, have you ever heard that term?
Oh yeah, Josie and the Pussycats.
Yes, where they're literally brought up like to be, or like some way or somehow they're thrown into the fire just like that without any upcoming like underground stuff. Same with like Ice Spice. Like, you never really heard of her doing music before like all her shit popped off just randomly on the internet
Doja
one
Cat.
day.
dude.
Doja Cat.
Doja Cat
A
had
bunch-
been
there's
making
so many
music for
industry plants like that.
years. and she barely got. And then look, I feel like they all take like a Britney Spears effect, like Miley Cyrus,
Right.
Doja Cat. Why are they all shaving their head after they've
Yeah.
been in like the industry for so long,
It's
and they
a-
end up going like psycho?
Yeah.
It's a cult thing that they have to
It
do.
is something
it's like
like
a,
that,
It's like an
yeah.
offering kind of thing.
Yeah.
You
They're
know?
even saying that Will Smith slapping
Oh.
Marty. He's not Marty, but like from Madagascar, he's Marty. I don't know his name, but he's Marty.
Chris Rock.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah, he's
He's
Chris
Marty. They're even saying that that was like one of the humiliation things
Right.
because he had fucked up with Diddy.
Ooh. I didn't even think of that. That's crazy.
There's like way too
I've
many
never
people.
heard that.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
I heard that. I heard that. I don't know. I've been looking like a lot.
And then it's crazy because you see their facial expressions when they like realize like, oh, this is what it was, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if y'all saw one with Steve Harvey where it was like name somebody like you would hate to see like in the bed with Steve Harvey or something. It was like something like that, like on Family Feud, and then they go Beyonce, right? And he goes, oh, what? Like he gets like all freaking scared, dude. I was like, oh
and
my God.
everybody
They got
from
you.
the Grammys, thank you to Beyonce.
Yeah.
What the fuck does Beyonce have to like at that
Kanye?
point? Beyonce just needs to host her own fucking Grammys if everybody's
real.
gonna
Yeah.
be thanking her.
Remember,
Right.
like, it was like when Taylor Swift won a Grammy for like best video or
That
something,
was so
and
funny.
Kanye
Kanye
got
had-
on stage and he was like, "I just want to say, Taylor, your video was amazing, but Beyonce had one of the best videos of the year." Like, all right, like,
Yeah,
okay,
he knows, bro.
you knew something, yeah. And that goes back to the theory. Some people think that Kanye is like knew about this the whole time and tried telling everyone, but no one
Well, look at
listened
his
to
thought
it.
it was freaking
songs. He
crazy.
doesn't want his kids around anything, like anything at all. There's a video of him hosting church, and like the photographers are trying to take pictures of his daughter, and he walks over there like hell.
Maybe
no.
Kanye wasn't crazy.
Maybe Kanye wasn't crazy. And look, now he's living his best life. He finally divorced his wife, Bianca or whatever the hell, after she would like, I don't know, personally.
Did you see that one where it was like, well, it's not actually Kanye? Have you seen like
Oh,
like
yeah.
the faces?
Some
It's
of the faces did not look like him.
I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah.
that's
Even
weird.
Diddy, like Diddy's mugshot,
Yeah.
that did not look like Diddy.
yeah.
I was like, who is this man?
Some of it, yeah. This is off topic too, but they were saying like they cloned Joe Biden too because he looked way different too.
Oh no, I haven't even.
You haven't heard of that one?
No.
I heard it. Yeah, it was like a theory that he was way taller than he had
Oh,
been
really?
before. In like one of his like, he came out in public after the debate and stuff like that. The first debate with Trump, he came out and he was like shaking people's hands at the White House, but he looked way taller than he usually does. Yeah, and he looked not younger, but he just looked more like polished. It was weird or
Yeah.
something like that. Like he had been faked or deep faked or something like that.
I hadn't heard that one. I'm gonna look into that one. That one sounds interesting.
I heard about the Michael Jackson one too.
Oh, yeah.
He's still alive.
Yeah.
Tupac's still alive.
Elvis is still alive.
What was his name? I don't know. He came on like some kind of news interview though, and it was like he had the same voice, but he was like freaking weird looking. He had like a mask on almost.
Oh,
and
I
it was,
know,
like-
I know what you're talking
I forgot
about.
what his name was though, and it was like he came on the news and that was Michael Jackson. you
Yeah.
know, but yeah, he's out there still much still, but because they tried to kill him, you know, because he got more popular than like Beyonce was like that,
Right.
and then you know she can't have anybody else on top, and then so they gotta take him out.
Yeah.
You know, it's always
Harmony.
drugs. It's always drugs.
Fifth Harmony. Camila Cabello.
Oh, okay.
They picked everybody out of that group and picked her.
But you don't
And
even hear. I don't even hear about her
just
anymore.
like her doing like the duet with like Cardi.
Oh yeah,
Playboy Cardi. What she doing Playboy
yeah.
Cardi?
Oh yeah.
I was like, what the heck?
Yeah,
I
shit,
don't
man, it's
know.
crazy.
dude,
Hollywood's fucked.
for real, dude. I mean,
And the fact that they have a list of like pretty much everybody in Hollywood. But do you hear it? I don't hear it anymore. About
It's almost
Diddy.
like a weird. It's like a secret society that Hollywood is, where it's
Yeah.
like they pick and choose who they want to have, and you know who's gonna get the most views. And I mean that I understand that like that's what you want is to be successful, but it's like it's just
what
such a
cost,
weird.
dude?
At what cost? Like you're literally selling your soul pretty much. And
Yeah.
that's another theory too, is that people sell themselves just to get fame and fortune and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's this one theory, you know, Bohemian Grove. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh my God, where
Yeah,
they have
where they have like these big. So in California, this is a real documented thing too. Bohemian Groves is like this. It's like a retreat in the forest. Like it's like a big mansion in the forest or something like that, where all like the elites of America go to for like a weekend or like a whole week or something
There's
like
even
that.
videos of
And
it
there's videos of
happening.
like ceremonies of like ritual, almost like cult type stuff, of like these big politicians and billionaires and stuff like that. Just I don't know what it is, but it's some like satanic That's the thing, is like it's theorized as some satanic ritual thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like there's been documented people like and actual politicians that have been there. Like I think Richard Nixon went, the former president, and then I think like Ronald Reagan was there. A bunch of other
It's crazy how we have these people leading us, though.
Bill Clinton
Right,
and stuff like
dude.
that. Yeah.
They're the face of America doing shit like that.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys turn on post notifications.
So that was it for our social podcast, our talk on conspiracies, and just how it's affected all of us. We're gonna record another podcast. If you'd like to watch that, go ahead and subscribe to our Patreon.
Patreon.
Socialpodcast.patreon.com. But yeah, that's it. Y'all got anything else?
That's pretty much it.
The world is fucked.
Hey,
That concludes our podcast.
there it is.
Don't trust the government.
No.
Conspiracy
all.
theories. You never know what you're gonna find.